Hey guys, what's going on? This is Tony Purcell, the founder of Team Awake. And today, on today's episode of Team Awake TV, we're going to talk about why does God say no? So, here's something really powerful that I learned one time that really made a lot of sense to me. And they said that God always answers prayers in two ways. He'll either say yes or something even better. And that, for me, made a lot more sense than what I had learned most of my life. Because normally you'd think, okay, God either answers just yes or no. I mean, either he'll say yes or he'll say no, or maybe he'll say later. This, to me, made a lot more sense. So you pray and ask for something, and God will say yes, or something even better. So the question today is, does God ever say no? And I would say yes, he does. He absolutely sometimes says no. So then the real question is, why would no ever be something even better than yes? So obviously one reason why is because maybe what we're asking for is not really good for us. Maybe it's something that we don't actually want. Maybe there's a young man who is dating a girl and he's like, please, please, please let this be the one. And the answer is no, because he's got something even better in store for him. His future wife's out there waiting for him, and so the answer is no. And he thinks, oh my gosh, it's horrible. But the answer isn't really no. It's not just straight up no. I'm not gonna help you there. The answer is, I'm gonna give you something even better. But there's another reason. There's another reason why he would tell us no. Sometimes something that's even really good for us, that we know is something that we can have, and we're asking God for. We're asking God to help us do something or to give us something. And the answer is no. And the reason why no is something even better. Consider that what is even better, the better thing that God is giving you, is he's giving you the lesson that you are powerful. And this is really, really important because there's a lot of people who have lost faith in God or who don't have very much faith and don't have a good relationship with God because they keep praying and praying and praying and asking and asking and asking, please, please, please help me get this job, or help me make some more money, or help me lose weight, or help this happen, or help that happen. They're asking, asking, asking for help in their lives. And the lesson that God is trying to teach them is that they're powerful enough to do something different. They're powerful enough to solve their own problems. And how would we ever know our own power if every time we asked God, he just said, here, and did it for us? We would never know. The truth is that you are powerful. That you're not just some random creature out there, that you are a child of God. And as such, you are powerful and you are limitless. And just like when I look at my own son, when my son was learning how to walk, sometimes I did, and sometimes he'd cry out for help. He wouldn't say help, but he would cry. It was like he would, with his eyes and with his cries, it's like he was asking me for help. And I wouldn't always help him. Now, the reason why this is so important is because some people think when they get a no, they're asking God for something and it doesn't happen. They assume that it must mean that God must not care, that God must not be very involved, maybe that God isn't real, but it's none of those things. Imagine as I'm watching my son learn how to walk, and he keeps falling down, and he keeps falling down, and he's crying. If I just picked him up and took him everywhere, and I did everything for him, and this applies to walking and so many other things that kids ask for help for, the more they do it, that I know that they can do it. Sometimes my son now, he's 2.5, and he'll come to me, and he'll say, oh, I can't, Dad, I can't do it. And I'll come to him, and I'll say, you can do it. It's not because I don't care about him. In fact, it's quite the opposite. I'm very, very involved. And I'll sit there and watch him very closely. And when there are things he can't do, then I'll do those for him. But when there are things that he can do that I know he's capable of, but he's struggling to do, Sometimes I'll just sit there. And then there are some things that he almost can do and he just needs a little bit of help with. But if I always did everything for him, including helping him walk every time he wanted to get somewhere, I picked him up and carried him. Every time he needed something, I did it for him. Then he would never learn that he's capable of doing something more. And this is exactly what God does for us. It's not that he's not involved. In fact, he's very involved. He's very carefully watching us and guiding over us, and he'll give us guidance, and he'll help us when we need it. And sometimes what he's giving us is the lesson that you're capable of doing it yourself. You've just got to find your own power. And I believe that that's the way that God really works for us, because he wants something more for us. He wants something great for us. So just consider that. Next time you're looking at what it is that you can do and what it is that you want and what you're asking for, just consider, is this something that I can do? Can I be doing more to make this happen? And pray. You can even ask that. You can specifically ask, will you help me with this? Or am I capable of this? What more do I need to do? And again, sometimes God will come and help you and give you direction. And sometimes he wants you to think about it for a while first. He wants you to come up with solutions, because again, how are you going to ever learn to use your mind and use your own logic unless he gives you the opportunity to? If he told you every answer to every problem you ever had, you would struggle, because you would never learn how to use your mind. But again, he is always going to be there for you. He's always going to give you certain direction. He just asks that you think about it for a while first, and that you try, and that you actually put forth the effort. And here's the amazing thing, is when you do your part, and when you do everything in your power, and when things go wrong, you say, what else can I do? That's usually when God steps in and helps you out the most. And the reason why is not because he's sitting there all stingy and saying, well, I've got a couple blessings here. I only got a certain amount of blessings. I'm only going to give it to those who've earned it, to those who've done the work. No, that's not the reason. The reason why he gives more to people who do more is because that's the lesson he's trying to teach everybody. And so the people who aren't doing a single thing but are begging him for the help, here's the problem that happens, is that they start to play the victim to God. When every time they have a problem, they say, God, come help, and he just swoops in and helps, then eventually they get to the point where they don't feel like they're capable of doing anything, which is why he doesn't do that, which is why when they're not helping themselves, he doesn't help them, so that they can learn how to stand on their own 2 feet, and how to walk for themselves, and how to think for themselves, and how to find the power that's inside of them. How to find the power that's inside of you. And so sometimes God, he'll let you stumble a little bit. And as you take that action yourself, then he'll be there for you. And he'll help you, because the worst thing that could happen is he does everything for you, and then you lose all your own power. And you think you're not capable of anything. And then you blame him for everything that happens in your life. And that's not what life was meant for. That's not what we were created for. God did not create a bunch of children just so that he could sit there and bask in his own glory while we praise him forever. That's not what he wanted. He wants us to live a joyful and a fulfilling life. He wants us to progress, and he wants us to grow, and he wants us to create. He wants us to stand on our own 2 feet and walk on our own. And just like me as a parent to my own child, doesn't mean I care less about him. In fact, I do that because I care more about him. I'm always there for him. I'm always watching him. I'm always doing everything I can for him, including letting him learn when he's capable of doing something on his own. So that's the episode for today. Guys, come and join us on Team Awake, because this is the stuff that we teach you about. We teach you how to have a better life, and how to step up, and how to own your own life, how to be powerful, and how to get the results that you're looking for in all the areas of your life, in your own emotions, and in your own body, and in finances, how to make more money, and how to be happier, and how to have better relationships. It's what we teach you in Team Awake, and most of all, how to be closer to God and have that kind of relationship where you know what to do, and he's there with you, supporting you, helping you, all along the way. So again, come join us in Team Awake within the Empower Network, and let's wake up the world.